Tokyo, Japan. My name is Gary Verheller, and I'll be your host for what we call the Substance of Living podcast. Today, we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. Hello, and welcome to episode 67, entitled Advanced Speechwriting Techniques. Now, I've been speechwriting for about 30 years now. And I'd like to share with you techniques that I've learned over studying about speeches. I have like 50 books on speech writing, and I was able to glean this, and I'd like to pass it on to you. The purpose of these speech writing techniques is to help the audience remember your message. And you do that by being almost, I would say, close to rhythmical, if not rhythmical itself, like music. People remember musical tunes without even thinking about it. For example, I had a friend who had a little boy. This is way back in the 70s. And the little boy was about 4 years old, and he knew all of the words to Earth, Wind and Fire's album. He had no idea what it meant, but because of the rhythm, he was able to memorize them. So let's get started. There's 6 of them: triad, alliteration, anaphora, simile, metaphor, and antithesis. Let's look at the first one, which is triad. Tri means 3. Tricycle, triangle. Triad means a series of 3. And this really does work. You can see this in the real world. For example, Caesar, after returning to Rome from Egypt, and he rode into Rome, and he was being heralded and flowers thrown at him, and he stood at the kind of the podium, the platform, in front of the Senate. And they said, "Caesar, tell us about Egypt." And he said, "I came, I saw, I conquered." 3. And then you can also remember what Abraham Lincoln said: government of the people, by the people, for the people. It has a rhythm. Here's something else, reason that triad works so well. It's called the rule of 3. And I'll show it to you just as I do to executives or scientists or any seminar that I'm in. A person can remember and do well 3 tasks, even under great stress. A person can remember and do well 3 tasks, even under great stress. This comes from the military, from way back when, as far as the Egyptians go, or even before that. So if you're my general, you're my officer, and I'm one of your army soldiers, you can give me 3 jobs, even though I'm going into battle, super stress, people are trying to kill me. Even though I'm going into battle, I can remember those 3, and I can do high quality work, even under that type of stress. And what that means is the audience can remember 3. They're not under stress. More importantly, you as the speaker can remember 3. The rule of 3 has been true in every country, in every culture, in the history of humans. So the triad can be very powerful. So the first one was triad. The second technique is called alliteration. Alliteration is using the same sounds. For example, jobs in Japan that nobody wants: dirty, difficult, dangerous. You have a triad, and you have the DDD. You can say education, communication, dedication. All of those are ending in shun, so it can be the letter that starts the sound, or it can be a suffix that ends the word. As long as you have 3 and you have that rhythm. That's called alliteration. You don't always need 3, you can do 2. And I have found that it comes almost automatically to me when I speech write. Triad, alliteration, anaphora. Anaphora is the same word, using the same word in the sentence. For example, government of the people, by the people, for the people, the people, the people, the people. Again, you're giving yourself more rhythm. You're creating almost a musical tone to your language, and that can help people remember. Triad, alliteration, anaphora, simile. Similes are fun. Simile is comparing A to B. You could say A is like B, or A is as as B. For example, Sachio, my wife, Sachio is like a cheetah. Sachio is as fast as a cheetah. And similes are fun. However, metaphor, you take out the like, you take out the as, and A is B. Sachio is a cheetah. Wow. I love that. That just puts the image in your mind, and it captures the attention and imagination of the audience. I prefer metaphors over similes. Sachio is a cheetah. Last one. Well, let's go through them again. There's triad, alliteration, anaphora, simile, metaphor, and the last one is called antithesis. Now, let's break that down. Anti means against, thesis is an idea or a statement. And what you normally do is you have the negative first, followed by the positive statement second. Probably one of the most famous antithesis is JFK, John F. Kennedy's, in his inaugural speech said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." Now let's break that down. Ask not starts with the negative. Ask not what you can do for your country. Now listen to the second part, the positive. Ask what you can do for your country. Ask not what your country can do for you. My mistake. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And if you'll notice, you have anaphora because a lot of the words in the negative are also used in the positive. If you're using the same words, you have alliteration too. So it becomes a very powerful statement. I don't like Tokyo. I love Tokyo. And this can be almost attention grabbing because the first statement could be considered a shocking statement, and that could capture the audience's attention. And then you define what you want to say with a positive statement. So let me do a quick review. Number one is triad. That's a series of three: of the people, by the people, for the people. Number two is alliteration, using the same sound: education, dedication, communication, chan chan chan. Or at the beginning, dirty, difficult, dangerous. Number three is anaphora, using the same words: government, of the people, by the people, for the people. Next one is simile, number four, and that is comparing A to B. Sachio is like a cheetah. Whereas metaphor, A is B, Sachio is a cheetah. And then antithesis, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And those are 6 advanced speech writing techniques that will help you in your communication in giving speeches or in everyday communication as well. They're fun to play with. And it enhances your ability to communicate and for your listener or your audience to remember. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or connect on Twitter. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.